funeral, I tell you who you are, Kanan, not the other way around. I am your mother.
I ain't never been good. I wasn't raised that way.
Now, the relationship between Raquel and Kanan is something that they focused on heavily during this first season, and as Raising Kanan kicked off with his first episode, we saw how eager Kanan was to learn the game from Rack. He wanted more responsibility, and Rack very quickly accepted him for who he was. But as the season started to go on, we started to learn that Kanan was not only defined by the choices that he made, but as Raquel told Kanan in the very first episode, she tells him who he is, not the other way around, and he's also defined by Raquel's choices, because she sees him as more of an extension of herself. It started with Raquel telling us that nothing will ever get between her and Kanan, but by the end of the season, with all the lies that she'd been keeping from him, and how she then manipulated him into trying to kill his own father, it's clear that she definitely defined a part of Kanan. But going into season 2, their relationship is definitely going to be fractured, and something that is going to continue being tested until they reach this breaking point. So in this video, we're going to look at the actors teasing season 2 with their relationship, and why it's beyond repair, and can only get worse from here. But of course, if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. But let's start with some of the comments from Mackay Curtis, and see what he said on season 2 with his relationship with Rack, and then we'll go into the characters in a bit more detail. Now, Mackay Curtis said this: I think the relationship now is some ways already fractured, especially after hearing that she ordered the hit on D-Wiz, and I feel like even though Kanan says he understands why she did it, he still doesn't like the fact that she said she was going to stop lying, and then she went all this long without letting him know. Aside from other things, losing one of his closest friends and there being an all-out war behind it, he's kind of just been in a blind fit of rage. So the bond between Raquel and Kanan is definitely going to be tested, not just with Kanan, but with Lulu and Marvin as well, and we'll get to their characters in the next week or so. But Rack has been lying to Kanan throughout his life, especially with telling him that his father was DEFCON and having him shoot his real father. But Kanan definitely has to take some blame for this. The whole war was a ripple effect from Kanan being eager to get out on the streets and play his part when he and D-Wiz killed Buck 20 in the very first episode. Ever since then, it's been a knock-on effect with D-Wiz's death, the stash house being hit by Unique, Rack losing a connect, and Kanan dropping bodies with his bad crack. But this conversation between the two that they had in episode 8 was the most important. Raquel told Kanan that she thought she raised him different, but we all know that Kanan, he's never been good, he's never been raised that way, he's exactly what Raquel made him to be. And at the end of the day, Kanan just wanted his mom to believe in him and trust him. But at this point in raising Kanan, she told him that he had dead people all over because of his bad crack. Why would she ever believe in him? She told him how she was the one who had D-Wiz killed, and then it started to dawn on Kanan just how badly he fucked up, because his actions had consequences, and D-Wiz was the sacrifice that Rack had to make to save Kanan. But he also realized in this conversation just how badly he'd been lied to this whole time by his mom, and she even went as far as to go in to comfort D-Wiz's mom in her own home at the end of episode 3, one of Raquel's coldest moments in this season, and definitely not her last, as we all know. And I'm going to go through a few other similar situations that we saw in Power later on in this video. But she didn't want to lie to Kanan anymore, so she told him the truth about Marvin and how he did his bid while him and Duke were babies. She told him about D-Wiz, Buck 20, and how she's also had to clean up his mess over and over again. And although Kanan says he understood why Rack did what she had to do, it doesn't mean that he's forgiven her completely, or he'll forget about it. This is one of Kanan's best friends, and someone who definitely would have made a good soldier for Kanan. Everyone that the older Kanan did a narration on had a huge part to play, and he told us D-Wiz was down for whatever, whenever. He was someone who was built for these streets, not like famous. So the death of D-Wiz and how his mom had him killed will definitely stick with him. So as I just mentioned a moment ago, in this conversation, he just realized how badly he'd been lied to by Rack, and although he understands, Raquel went one step further and had Kanan try and kill his own father, so she took the line to a whole new level. Now I'm sure this is the last thing that Rack wanted Kanan to do, because no mother wants to ask their son to do what she did, but with Lou in hospital and how Howard forced Raquel's hand in only sending Kanan because he'd shoot anybody else on sight, she realized that he's the only one who could get close enough to him and kill him, because he'd never see it coming from Kanan. And this is just going to add to the fractious relationship that Kanan and Rack have if and when Kanan finds out and uncovers more truths behind Raquel's lies. Now we don't know if Kanan will actually find out that Howard is his father. This is something I'm sure we'll start to learn more of in season 2. For me, it definitely would have made sense and follow the Power storyline with him telling us that he didn't know his father. So this is one of those ones where we'll just have to wait and see where they take this storyline. But he could very well find out more lies, such as how Rack could potentially have been the one who set Marvin up to go to prison in the first instance when him and Duke were babies, or how Rack could have even potentially been the one to light up High Post for being a snitch, or even having DEFCON moved out of the way so she was able to climb the ranks of the business business. Just like Raquel said to Kanan very early on in the season, she was just like Kanan. She was eager to get into the business and not just sit in a stash house all day like Defcon had to do. And if Raquel really did send Marvin to prison and dealt with high posts in Defcon, and Kanan learns about this, then Kanan will most likely realize that he'll have to do this at some point as well in the future if he really is to reach Raquel's position, because it's a part of the game and you're only a real killer till you kill someone you love. So it makes me wonder, did Kanan even manipulate Ghost into killing Breeze to keep his hands clean, as one of the 48 laws of power teaches us, and something that Raquel did with having others do her dirty work is definitely something to think about, because I really wouldn't put it past Kanan because of how manipulative he was. But it also makes me think, what more will Raquel do to make Kanan really think that I can't trust my mom, just like how the older Kanan's narration told us at the end of episode 10, which I believe is a foreshadow for even more lies and deceit to come from Raquel. For example, could Raquel do something about Davina, and will this finally be the moment which turns Kanan against his mom? Because I really wouldn't put anything past Raquel now after seeing what she did this season. They told us everything we needed to know about who this character was very early on when she had D-Wiz killed, and when she went to go comfort his mom, which was very reminiscent of how Tommy went to go pay his respects to Paz when she killed Angela, Ghost doing the same to Q-Dubs when he was the one who killed Roller, and 2-Bit doing this with Spanky's mom in Power Book 2 Ghost. It just shows how unforgiving and cold you have to be in the Power universe, and Raquel knows at some point, Kanan will as well, because at the moment he's just someone who's trying to figure out who he is himself. The person that you think of yourself exists only for you, and even you don't know who that is. Every person that you meet and have a relationship with in the street creates a different version for you in their heads. Just like Raquel has created a version of Kanan, Marvin has created his own version, and Breeze will too, just like there will be many versions of Ghost. But there's a lot that's happening in Kanan's life right now, and it's moving very quick. Him trying to help his mom resulted in a war between Unique and Raquel. It resulted in the loss of a close one, which was D-Wiz. He dropped a lot of bodies with his bad crack, including Nicole's death, and Davina entered and left his life real quick as well. He's having to grow up fast in a world that's not going to slow down for anyone, especially for someone with Kanan's ambitions and where he wants to end up, but he's doing shit that's going to stay with him forever. He's also deciding who he's going to be for the rest of his life, and the scary part for Kanan is he doesn't even know who he is yet, which would be an extension of Rack, parts of Marvin, maybe Lou and Scrappy, and definitely Breeze later on as well. And if Breeze really is being introduced in season 2 as 50 teased, where does this leave Raquel and Kanan's relationship if Kanan does start to work under Breeze? What happens to Raquel and Kanan's relationship at this point in raising Kanan? Because this is going to be a huge moment for the Power universe, because we really will then find out whether she's alive in the timeline of Power, or whether this is just a person that Kanan killed that he loved, or whether she's sent to prison just like how Ghost sent Kanan to prison to take over. So this is definitely something to look out for in season 2 of Raising Kanan, as Makai Curtis teased that Raquel and Kanan's relationship is going to be fractured, and this is definitely going to be tested further in season 2. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Drop all your thoughts down below on Kanan and Raquel's relationship and how it's going to change as we move into season 2. And do you agree that Kanan is defined by the choices that he made, but also the choices that Raquel made for him? Let me know what you guys think down below. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.